So it's offers date for our condo, and I am pretty scared that we're not going to get a single offer. Even though we live in one of Canada's hottest housing markets in a very desirable neighborhood, and our condo is in a great location. We also listed our condo artificially low, definitely lower than market value, as a way to drum up attention and interest. And even with all that, there is a good chance that we won't get a single offer. I'm gonna get into why that's possible, but first make sure you stick around until the end of this video because we will be showing you live whether or not we get an offer today and what that offer is if we do get one. In March of 2022, when we took ownership of our condo, the Toronto market was at its peak. The prices had gone up for real estate 30% over the year before. So we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars more in just 1 year. So it looked like our 2-bed, 2-bath pre-construction condo that we had purchased in 2017 for $595,000 might be worth much, much more than what we paid for it. In fact, we almost listed it for sale then, and our realtor was ready to post it for $998,000. Now, flash forward a year and a more than 4% increase in interest rates and a decrease in the market overall, but especially for condos. From last year to this year, condo prices have gone down by 8%, and it's looking like we'll be lucky if we can sell our condo for even $800,000. And that's still a great amount considering what we paid for it. We'll still be making a significant profit on our initial investment, and we are so lucky that we got that initial down payment from my dad in the first place. But it definitely hurts to think that we maybe could have sold it for $200,000 more last year. I certainly have some regrets about not selling it last year when we first took ownership. There were a few reasons why we didn't. There was concern about having to pay back our first-time buyer's HST rebate. We also had locked in a 5-year fixed mortgage, and we would have to pay a penalty on ending that mortgage early. We'll still have to pay a penalty on ending it early, but not as much as if we'd ended it a year ago. And also at the time, there was no reason to believe interest rates would rise so high so quickly. And there were indications that the market was going to continue to rise. So we were scared that if we sold then, we would never be able to buy back into the Toronto market. And over the past year, we did benefit from getting a chance to turn our condo into an Airbnb while we were house sitting for my dad. And I learned a lot about what it takes to run an Airbnb and what the potential profits are. And that information has been invaluable because it has confirmed for me that I definitely want to keep pursuing that and make that a major part of my career and income streams moving forward. That's part of why we want to sell and move to France so that our money can work harder for us in a market where housing is a lot cheaper, the cost of living is lower, and tourism is a reliable income stream. So here we are taking offers after having already listed our condo earlier this year at the beginning of April with a different realtor, with actually the realtor that helped us buy our condo, and having an experience that we weren't 100% satisfied with. We felt like there wasn't as much effort being put into marketing the property as we would have liked to see, and the condo did sit on the market for over 30 days with very few viewings and no offers. So ultimately, we decided to change directions and change realtors, which meant going from having listed it originally April 4th for $899,000 to then bringing it down a week later to $849,000, and then really artificially low listing it now with our new realtor last Tuesday, for $699,000. That strategy did have effect paired with the new staging and the new marketing efforts, including a open house and a broker's open house. This meant that in just a week, we had double the amount of viewings we'd previously had when the condo had been listed for over a month. And now here we are on our offers date, just 8 days after relisting the condo, waiting to see if anybody is going to make an offer. If nobody makes an offer, that doesn't mean that somebody might not in the future, and we will be relisting the condo at a higher price, but it would be really disappointing to have it listed so low and still not get any offers. I think that would make us really question the value of this asset that for the past 6 years has felt like it was just going up and up and up in value without any danger to not being able to get our money back out of it. Now, part of why the condo market isn't doing so well is because interest rates are so high, and realistically, you can rent a 2-bed, 2-bath condo in Toronto for less than what your mortgage would be on one now. But having been through this process of listing our condo in April and not having it sell and relisting it now, we've really come to realize a couple things. First, just how valuable a parking spot is. We don't have one in our condo, and when we bought our pre-construction condo, to add a parking spot onto the price would have been an additional $50,000. And when the condo was ready, finally in 2021, there were still a couple parking spots left, but they were now $80,000. And I think even last year, there was still one straggling spot that was selling for $100,000. We always thought from the very beginning that that was ridiculous as a cost for a parking spot, but now in the position of being sellers, we can see that that is approximately the value that a parking spot would add on to our condo in terms of what we could price it. And we're seeing other 2-bed, 2-bath condos in the area sell, the difference being that they have a parking spot and we do not. Another thing that people are not liking about our condo is that it is north facing and it faces onto another apartment building. And granted, the view is not amazing, but it still has a very spacious balcony. And in the summer especially, you see a lot of the tree canopy, which is really nice. It also was actually a bonus for us because it meant we weren't getting the traffic sounds of the 2 major streets that are around our condo by facing away from those streets. And while that was a bonus for us as buyers, it's not necessarily a bonus for people who would like to be south facing for both light and lake view purposes. But of course, that would have cost us a lot more at the time too, and it wasn't in the cards for us. So right now it is 2:37, and we have not heard any peeps from our real estate agent about anybody registering to make an offer today. It's incredibly disheartening, and I'm hoping that by 5, which is the deadline for them to register to make an offer, we get something, but I don't have high hopes, which means I don't know what we're going to be doing next. A lot of our decisions for the rest of the year are resting on us selling the condo and that opening up the ability for us to purchase in France and also fund my career change, which I'm hoping to get a start on this fall by taking an interior design course. Having the carrying costs of the condo without being able to rent it out are definitely going to put a damper on that. And while we are open to renting it out, I think I've mentioned in past videos that that comes with the consequence of having to pay capital gains tax on the sale when we do sell it. And also it ties our hands in terms of selling it when we are ready to sell it because it will be tenanted and it is hard to get rid of tenants in Toronto. But I also wouldn't want to do that to somebody, bringing them in as tenants with the knowledge that we are looking to sell when we can for the right price. So yeah, that's the update on where we're at with our condo and why I genuinely believe that we might not be able to sell it, which blows my mind knowing what a crazy market we were in just a year ago. It really speaks to the fact that you cannot predict where the market is going to go. And so even holding on now with the hopes that we might be able to sell it for more later gives me pause because there are no guarantees. And what if something happens with the global markets and actually we end up not being able to sell it for what we're able to sell it for now and the trend goes down again? It's really hard to know what's going to happen. So I'm sitting here working and I just got an update from our realtor. It is 3:51 p.m. So no news until now. And our realtor just said, promising calls this afternoon. We won't know for sure what's coming until 6, but at least 2 agents said they were, quote, hammering out the details, end quote, with their clients. I feel inclined to pray, and I am not a religious person. I feel inclined to pray for something that we can say yes to because I would really like to move on to the next stage of life. So we just got an update. It is now 5:39 p.m. and our realtor has just texted to let us know that we have one offer registered. Nothing in my hands yet, but that is to be expected, just waiting on the second one. So I am cautiously optimistic, but also nervous that it's going to be not as high an offer as we like. So hopefully we get a second one. Do you have nervous energy?
Mm-hmm.
I have nervous energy.
I would say yes.
You would say yes. Guess I'll get out of
We're color coordinated now.
black to mourn. So weird to get these explanations for why people didn't put in an offer.
Yeah. Oh, I had a bad day.
Yeah. There's a lot of caveats.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of preparing you for the bad news.
Yeah. What do you think they're gonna? I think the first offer is gonna be like $740.
I don't know. I don't even know how to speculate. Everything's so all over the place.
Yeah.
So 628. Latest update is there's definitely only one offer and we're still waiting for it. We're waiting, as we've done all day. We wait. We don't know what the offer is. Maybe it's been retracted. Ah! Oh, that's you.
Trying to get your hopes up.
Oh, there's half an hour of my life I'll never get back. Okay, let's just go make dinner. This is fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
Update. No updates. They are no doubt strategizing the right entry price. I will follow up with him. We're gonna go make dinner. Mm-hmm. You were right. 740. Which is happens to be exactly what House Sigma says it's worth.
Right.
Which is almost certainly based purely on the $1,000 per square foot.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, not the results I wanted, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the condo market's just not what we would hope.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
an offer, that is a good sign. It is lower than anticipated. We did its best to get them higher on the start, but it's a process, so we play.
When we were earlier tonight, we were making guesses on what it would be, and this was my number.
Okay.
This was like my pessimistic number.
I didn't guess.
This is where I had a sense they may come in.
Yeah.
Just based on no offers, and this is why they were so late coming, as they were waiting to see what the other one wanted to do. I would not be surprised if we did relist that we have a couple people come out again.
Right.
I can't promise they'll come in with the 8, but
Yeah.
I have been very clear with people that price per square foot, comps, everything, if they do their research, we're not unrealistic in our expectations.
Right.
So our options are, it's a clean offer. There's no conditions, which is wonderful. They are ready to deliver the deposit check tomorrow. We just have to decide how we want to sign it back to them and see if we can keep going until we hit something.
What was their desired close date?
30 days.
Okay.
So everywhere else, they've tried to work with our requests as much as possible. It's just the price is going to be a sticking point, and they're feeling confident that with no other offers on the table,
Right.
why not try their hat? Which, I mean, I would do the same if I was
Right. Yeah. Why not start low?
So I guess for me, it's now it comes to the question of like, how much do we come down versus how much they come up, and they know where you've been through the whole process. They've seen the previous listings. So, you know, if we were to sign back at like 829, it's a conversation, and then leave it to them to come up. It's aggressive. I don't want to leave it so that we end up negotiating under 8.
Yeah, and we don't want to negotiate under 8.
Yeah.
So.
And I've been very transparent with him that like we're not unreasonable over 8, but we deserve that 8 in front of it. They've given us till 9 o'clock tonight
Okay.
to hash this out, which is tight, but if it dies, it dies, and we pick it up tomorrow. To see, so I guess it's just a caution to be patient, that we're obviously not going to hit every condo buyer because of the lack of parking, but the buyer is out there. They may just not have started their search today. So if this isn't successful tonight, I'm still confident about where we are in our pricing. We had to try this.
Yeah. We are not, we don't have to sell.
Yeah.
Our situation. So like that is our kind of our leverage.
Well, that's your what I call BATNA. It's the best alternative to a negotiated deal, right? You don't have to get rid of this. Like, you're not behind on your mortgage payments. Like, if obviously you want the money so that you can move on in your life, but
that's the time pressure. It's wanting to be able to take the next step, but understanding that we're not going to like shortchange ourselves in that.
I don't think we should leave any money on the table. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
So we just signed. Yeah, I'm done. So we just signed back an offer of $829 to their $740. It's pretty depressing. And now House Sigma says it's worth $765, whereas last time I checked, they were saying it was worth $740.
Huh.
So I don't know where they get that number from. Guess what else is sold in the area? I don't know. Either way.
If we get 800, what do we walk away with?
Oh, if we get 800, what do we walk away with? Okay, let me do the math. If we get 800, that's $40,000 in realtor commissions. So that's $760 minus our remaining mortgage. Is $316 minus
mortgage penalty.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe 300,000.
Yeah. Which is basically 200,000 euros.
And we thought we were gonna walk away with $500,000 last year.
I mean, we thought that, but that was like.
I know
that's
there's
without
no guarantees.
That was without really having investigated the market.
No. Or whether it would actually sell for that without parking even last year. But last year was such a frenzy, it might have. Anyway. Still come out on top. Still walk away with $300,000.
Yeah.
Which, because of how fucked up the Toronto market is, feels like no money in our minds. You know?
Yeah.
It feels like zero money. That's how fucked up my mind is. Yeah.
Making an insane face.
Well, I wanted to conclude what's happened,
Okay.
which is that we didn't sell our condo because the investors, the people who were buying are investors, and they don't want to come up to our minimum. So onwards and relisting at a reasonable, not artificially deflated price. We sold our condo. It actually didn't happen on the offers date, which was Wednesday, June 14th, but it was the buyer that made an offer on that day, so they actually ended up coming back the next day, June 15th, with an offer that just crossed our threshold. Our threshold that we wanted to sell for was a minimum of $800,000, and they came back with an offer of $805,000. I was really low down that day. It was such an emotional roller coaster, waiting for offers, waiting and waiting, then hearing that we might have two, and then turning out that we only had one, and then the one that was offered was lower than what we were wanting to sell for, and frankly lower than what the place was worth, and then them not coming back to us with a higher amount. So the next day I was really bummed, and then around 4 o'clock I get a text message from our realtor telling us that that same offer, that same buyer came back and offered $805, and that we had less than an hour to accept. And Edward wasn't actually at home. He was in the office and he was in the middle of his annual review, so I couldn't get a hold of him. I ended up having to call him and I didn't get an answer, and then I texted him a bunch of rapid fire texts being like, we have an offer, it expires at 5, get back to me. And he had to actually ask his boss if they could take a break from his annual review so he could read my messages, we could talk, and we ended up accepting the offer. And here we are, we sold our condo, and we've already started moving stuff out and selling stuff, and it is a bit surreal, and I'm just so relieved. It is also a little bit sad being in this space now, knowing that it's no longer going to be ours. It's so bright and it's so nice in many, many ways, including the fact that it is not a basement. But I'm very excited to move forward with our next step. And if you're interested in what that next step is, make sure you subscribe and like, and stay tuned for the next video in the series about our potential move to France. And if you liked this video, then you might like my video about having a quarter life crisis and how to navigate that. So check that one out here, and I'll see you next time.